Gets open for three. Dagger!
The kick, and here it comes. Swing and a miss! And a World Series Game 7 winning Curly W is in the books.
Washington Capitals are the 2018 Stanley Cup champions. You like that? You like that? I like that.
You gotta like that, right?
My approval ratings keep going up.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
No complicated business here. The Washington football team. Guys, I'm short on words, honestly. I'm not short on emotions, but I'm gonna struggle to find some words here. It is late, just short of midnight here. What an incredible, and frankly, must-win situation that just came through. I mean, I honestly, I'm still kind of wrapping my mind around what I just watched, because it's the tale of two teams. It's the tale of two cities. It's the tale of two halves. It's unbelievable what we just watched. You know, we gotta find something, and I think by the end of this show, the nerves should have calmed down just a little bit here, because again, what we just saw is crazy. Heinicke magic is a real thing. All right. I'm super excited about Heinicke magic. Okay. I don't know. Like, I want to believe so badly that Ryan Fitzpatrick is channeling all of the magic at Heinicke and talking to him constantly and helping him do what he needs to do. And there's going to be a ton of storylines. I'm always excited when our team plays on the national stage. It's usually bad news, right? And this goes back for forever and ever. It's usually really bad news because we typically don't perform the primetime curse, the whatever. This is a different story. And I think there's going to be a couple just consistent headlines from coast to coast tomorrow on all platforms, from Screamin' A. Smith all the way down to the beat reporters that cover both of these teams. Before I get into what I want to get into, I want to throw it to both of you. For those that are watching the show or listening live, that's Razzle and that's FP. FP, it's good to see you, my man. Welcome back, and you picked the perfect show to return. Like, this is an incredible situation. This is an incredible situation. We don't get to celebrate these primetime victories that frequently. Razzle, I want to go to you first. Just, you know, we're 15 minutes removed from this game. Give me your 3-word description or your 3-sentence description.
You know, I can't believe it, because usually we're on the other end of these things.
I can't believe it either. It's the other kicker who's making this kick and breaking our heart. And we thought, you know, that's right.
The way our buddy Taylor Heinicke was played tonight was, I need to take back my Cam. I don't want to hear any Cam.
Where's Steve? Coming. God, I knew. I just had a feeling he was going to punt. If this was a loss, I feel like Steve would have been the first one. He would have fired up the mics. He would have signed up to host the show.
He's ready to bury them when they're down.
He's ready.
No. I was impressed. I mean, it was a little bit of an inconsistent game. You know, we didn't see a full 4 quarters played, but the way we finished, you know, the way we went down the field, we made those plays. You know, the out to Adam Humphries to get that first down, to get out of bounds. You know, I got to hand it off to the Washington football team. This is a game that we usually would lose, no matter who the opponent is, whether it's the Giants,
we did lose. We missed the kick.
They were offsides. But there's a little bit of face
those
mask.
are the things that never happen. Those are the things that never break our way, right?
And you know, you gotta feel good for the kid in Taylor, because, you know, I after that pick that he threw, he just looked so like distraught. Like he just wanted to give him another shot. You know, FP, kind of. What did you think about the game tonight?
I mean, FP. First of all, I'm digging the hat. All right, I just love the red Fred Durst hat. I'm just such a fan.
It's the
backwards hat,
the gold curly W Nats hat.
Whatever. Listen, you wear this, wear it for the rest of the season. Okay, do whatever juju you brought tonight. Bring it every freaking week.
We're gonna need a lot more juju, man.
We do need a lot more. I mean, what stood out to you? I mean, we for obviously not everyone's part of our chat constantly behind the scenes during a game. I mean, there probably I don't know 100 tweets between on our account between everybody that's got access to it. Probably 500 messages amongst the 5 or 6 of us that kind of put this show together and keep the wheels turning. I mean, you were pretty active tonight.
Man.
And I think I appreciate you keeping Steve in check, and we are going to take some shots at him because, again, if this game had ended, the way it originally ended, missing the kick, Steve literally would have been the first person here just going bananas about the D.
Hey,
and
there
about
was a couple
everything.
times I was on Steve's side during this game, but I'll tell you what, the one thing that sticks out to me, because I'm still riding high, I'm still positive on this team right now before we dig into it. I'll tell you what, when's the last time you saw a Washington football team put up 30 on the scoreboard? 30, regardless of what happened, we somehow managed to put enough points on that board to win. And Ricky Seals-Jones, we finally saw Terry. We finally, AG was running. We should have ran him a little bit more, but the weapons did what the weapons needed to do. Props to Heinicke. For the coaching, they were good. Ron didn't make any decisions.
I got some thoughts about Ron, though.
He didn't do any decisions that left my head scratching, though.
Well, he didn't seem like he was really into the game. There was some cuts in the first.
He looked like he didn't want to be there.
No, he looked
exactly.
angry.
Like he was. Yeah, something just didn't look right. Like he's not talking to anybody. He's kind of like
could have been a fly on that locker room at halftime, man.
Oh man,
he went in on them.
Yes. But look, let's get into this game. You asked a perfect question. When was the last time they hung 30 on anybody, right? But when was the last time they were really competitive in a game, that they had to have? Yes, the playoff appearance last year is one thing, and it's kind of frozen in time, but this, even though it's the same people, it just looks like a different team. When was the last time they had 400 yards of total offense?
When was the last time we came back and won a game?
Yeah, we can keep going. When was the last time Dustin missed one and then made one and didn't freeze himself or didn't just, is he going to be? Look, it's not a hot take. He shouldn't be the kicker next week.
No, he should.
Oh, no, he's
pretty consistent. He's better than the.
Can we define what good or consistent is? Because he misses as many as he makes.
You have to factor in just how this team does historically. If we get a kicker, Graham Gano, and let him go, we go through a huge rough patch of finding somebody else, and then we finally get somebody that's at Hopkins' level. If you get rid of Hopkins, there's zero guarantee that the guy that gets brought in is good.
I'm pro Hopkins, but he misses a lot of field goals, and the one that went through after the one that didn't go the one that missed
through
looked really similar to the one.
Yeah, it looked like it was the same kick.
Yeah. Like at some point, okay. If they had lost this game, we would be talking about which heads have to roll and everything else. Winning does cure all, and for 1 week, for 1 hour right now, I think we just collectively, everyone needs to take a deep breath in and then a deep breath out, right? Because this team, they did what they needed to do, which is get a win. They are 1-1. It's a division win. Like for at least one night, everything's okay, right?
Yeah.
At least for one night. But in reality, like you said, there's a lot of firsts here. 400 yards of offense, comeback victory. I don't remember. 87 rushing yards, not a bad day. 25 first downs. Anybody have that parlay? Joe, was that one of our first?
Nah.
Who would have taken that bet? 25 first downs, 23 for the Giants, and we'll talk about the defense here in a second. But because we won, let's focus on some of the things that went well. The story is Heinicke. The story has to be Heinicke for me, 100%. Right? And usually in these recap shows, we kind of come in with like 3 things, right? I think one of my things is the kicking on this team. I think Hopkins has to be challenged in practice for over the next 10 days. There has to be some accountability here with the kicker. Okay, there has to be. And I understand on a whole, yes, the league is in a different place and kicking is not what it used to be, blah, blah, blah. You can't make as many as you miss and then be considered to be, this isn't baseball. You can't go up there and swing 10 times, hit it 2.5 or 3, and you're amazing at your job. This is a totally different
made
beast.
3 field goals tonight. Hopkins. Hopkins made 3 field goals tonight.
Are you confident when he steps up that he's
no?
Okay. So
that's the last thing we need to be talking about tonight.
All right. So let's talk about positives then. Let's talk about
the positive. Who do I want to beat tomorrow?
Let's talk about Taylor. Let's talk about Taylor.
He started off a little slow. We had those first 2 drives where both of them went 3 and out. He had I think he got sacked on both third
No, they
downs.
didn't start slow. They didn't start.
They didn't start. The whole first quarter was completely
That was
bad.
SHIT with a capital S, baby.
And then in the second quarter, they started opening things up. He started making throws. He built that relationship with who we got centered right here on the screen, Mr. McLaurin. And they started making some plays that they needed to make to keep this game competitive. I mean, we went into halftime looking at the box score here. We went into halftime with the lead, 14-10. We had two good touchdowns in the second quarter. So like I said, the game, it was a good game. I feel we won the second quarter. We won the fourth quarter. The other two quarters, we kind of came out flat. We came out of the half flat. We thought this game looked like it was going to be pretty much dead and gone. Daniel Jones, I think, hats off to Daniel Jones. I know we haven't brought up many of the Giants yet, but Daniel Jones played a hell of a game. He ran the ball. He made plays.
Surprised by his running. Totally surprised by his running.
But we shouldn't be because he did the same thing last year. He did the same exact thing last year.
But it's almost like they game planned it this time.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't a scramble. They game planned for him to run.
And some of the throws that he made on our secondary, that Darius Slayton touchdown, if he made that catch, that we would have been talking about a different outcome tonight.
The Giants let us win. They did not want to win this game.
Right.
I don't know how anyone disagrees with that. Daniel Jones, I'm not ready to talk about the Giants. I got to be honest. There's a couple things. I think we still got to talk about the football team. I think we should continue to highlight Heinicke here. He balled out, right? And he started off slow. And, Joe, and I would ask you and maybe challenge you a little bit. Do you think it was Turner calling a better game as the game progressed, or Heinicke taking more ownership or at the line and just making calls? Because I'm not, look, Scott, I still think he calls. Yeah. I have a lot to say about Scott Turner, but I just, for Heinicke, it was literally like night and day. Those first two possessions, it didn't look like the offense understood what you said it. What are we supposed to do on third down? It's convert. Convert. Right. and they weren't able to do it consistently. Right. They weren't able to do it. But as the game progressed, maybe Heinicke settled in, maybe Turner settled in. Like Turner seems like the guy, once upon a time there was talk, that our offensive coordinator, remember when we had like the triangle offensive coordinators where like the guy upstairs was talking to the guy on the sideline, and they had their first 15 plays scripted. This was a J thing, right? Club J. Hey, these are the first 15 things we're going to do. We're going to run them in order. We're not going to adjust anything. These are the first 15 plays. Don't talk to me until we get to play 16 type of thing. Maybe some of that is still here. Like, I just feel like Scott's not willing to just go, even though they came out.
Deviate from the plan.
Yeah, like exactly. And it actually drives me a little bananas, but it just looks as he gets deeper into the playbook and opens it up a little bit. I think he's got something, and I think the football team's got something in Heinicke. I just do. Yeah,
it's
the quarterback
100%
talk,
Heinicke and not Turner. But 100% this is Heinicke and not Turner. And all you have to do is look at that touchdown pass to Ricky Seals-Jones. That play was 100% Heinicke scrambles, looks, and he goes, let's just throw it up. Lets his guy make a play, and boom, touchdown. And Scott Turner, maybe he adjusted, maybe it was the first 15 plays and then he started adjusting, but late into that game, aka the play with the pick, you shouldn't be calling passing plays when you're defending the clock. At that point, you're defending the clock.
It's second and 4.
Exactly. So,
but is Scott that new? Turner, that's not new. That's not a new problem here.
So the problem with Scott Turner, and from a lot of interviews, his offense is very antiquated. Not just the plays coming from Norv Turner's coaching tree. It's the language behind the plays so antiquated. It's a terrible offense. And it's something that Heinicke is doing what he's doing because he's been in this offense for so long. Terry has been in this offense now for 3 years? 2 years.
It's amazing that we've gone this long. And this is really the first mention of number 17. Terry McLaurin.
Absolutely.
Listen, the best compliment you can pay a receiver, in my opinion, and this is not my words, I'm stealing this from somewhere, right? Best compliment you can pay to any wide receiver in this league is to tell him that he's quarterback proof. Terry McLaurin is quarterback proof.
Yes.
This guy will
absolutely
catch.
I feel like his game is elevated by Taylor.
Yes. And it felt like, again, the game started and you could see maybe Taylor was forcing, maybe Heinicke was forcing the ball just a little bit between the tight end, like inside outside. He was trying maybe to do a little bit too much. I don't know. but it was clear Terry is unguardable, and certainly not. He's not going to be guarded by one guy. And Heinicke picked up on it, and starting somewhere in the maybe middle of the second quarter, it just
started heating up.
Just look his way, feed him. Even if you're not passing it to him, if it's not, if the play isn't for him,
just
he's
make
looking
the defense
guys off.
Shift
Terry
over there.
McLaurin is quarterback proof. This guy is. I hope he is a Washington football team. I hope he's on this roster from the beginning. He obviously was drafted by the team. I hope he's here until the end of his career. He's a monster.
I
can't explain to anybody, and if you're not a football team fan, I can't explain this to you, what it feels like to have someone like him on this team.
There's a stat line to explain Terry McLaurin. He has started a game every 3 games with a different quarterback. He's never gone 4 games with the same quarterback ever in his career since he started with the Washington football team. And the fact that he's putting up the numbers that he's putting with 0 quarterback consistency, even the nobodies, even the non-fans should know Terry McLaurin, especially in this area.
Yeah, one thing Taylor did a good. I know he kind of zeroed in on Terry. They made the connection in the second quarter, kept going. But I saw a couple plays from the rookie De'Ami Brown that I liked.
He had a huge catch.
Yeah, he had a huge catch. I think Adam Humphries got involved in the slot, making a couple of small plays. I thought Taylor, what he did, obviously Terry had 11 catches for 107 yards, great game. But I saw he got a couple plays. He got a couple other people involved. Logan Thomas had a solid game. The pass to McKissick on the right sideline that kind of got us back into the game. That was a beautiful play. It was like 2 plays. Like he had 2 beautiful passes back to back. So I think overall, this is a B+ game for Taylor. And I'm happy with that.
What more do you need to see from him to give him an A, Joe?
Not throwing an interception when you have the lead.
Okay.
Like let's not take that away from him. He made that mistake, and if he waited a little bit, he would have saw that defender right there. He didn't let the play. He was nervous. He didn't let the play come together.
He came back strong after that mistake.
No, I'm not.
In a very important time. So
yeah, very resilient. Resilient
B+,
performance.
almost A. I mean, I don't think you could have asked more from Heinicke from this game. He did everything you needed him to do.
He didn't give me 22 and a half rushing yards, which I needed for my bet tonight. So that's something that's good.
Yeah, the 4-way parlay didn't work there, Razzle.
No.
Yeah, I was watching. I think you hit on a couple. We hit on a couple, but not on that one in particular. No. Let's talk about Gibson here for a second too. He averages a healthy average 5.3 on 13 attempts. Different volume. It looked like maybe they were going to make a little bit more of an effort to keep him involved. Game plan, I guess, changed. McKissick got, he got 1 touch last week or on Sunday, 4 days ago. Like feels like 5 minutes ago. I feel like it's been one super long show basically since Sunday. But Gibson played again. He played okay. And I want to talk. I mean, De'Ami Brown. There was a play early in the second quarter. I think I texted it or mentioned it in the group. He caught the ball. He turned around. He literally had one of the cornerbacks from the Giants on his back, and he just started running forward as if it was just body bag the dude and just was running until he was brought down by two other guys came and tackled him. So, like, he seems like a baller. I mean, he 3 catches, 34 yards. He's a rookie. I think he's going to have a role here. And honestly, and I hate to say it because the team deserved this win and they played great. But Curtis Samuel will give them a legitimate other option, even if it's just, maybe Samuel is never going to be that, down the field, just, scary speed guy anymore because of the age or the hamstring or whatever. But he's still got hands, and the dude he can get out there and just catch the ball, even if he's just a possession receiver. It kind of reminds me like someone like Brandon Marshall, if you remember, like early in his career, really fast and very streaky, deep routes, deep crosses. And as he got progressively older, which is totally okay, he just turned into like perfect hands, and anything you throw anywhere near him, he's going to catch it.
I mean, he has a little Pierre Garçon vibe to him, or he could have that.
Oh, I love me some Pierre Garçon.
Who doesn't love Pierre?
He could be a trusted guy. Spread out that offense, and then he's your safety valve, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, you figure you insert him into this lineup. I mean, you can't do like Terry went for 11 for 100 yards. I'm trying to let me look at the box score here. Yeah, 11 catches for 107. Even if you trot Curtis Samuel, if he takes 4 or 5 looks away from him, it helps both players. So I'm encouraged, but at the same time, I kind of agree with what FP said. Like the Giants kind of like This was more about the Giants losing than it was about Washington winning. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth, right? Because if you're watching it from the Giants perspective, and I'm sure our buddy Antonio is going crazy somewhere in New York right now, like you have a 150-yard run from Daniel Jones where he literally makes everyone on the defense look ridiculously slow, or maybe he's just super fast. I don't know, but he ran past everyone. He turned the corner and just took off.
Curtis Samuel looked like me chasing him.
Listen, Landon Collins couldn't have looked older for that. It was 4 seconds. It felt like 4 minutes. And I'm sure if you're Landon Collins trying to catch the quarterback, the big mouth breather from New York, I'm sure on the inside he died a little bit because he was nowhere near him. So, like, if you're a Giants fan, you have Daniel Jones, you have that TD gets wiped out. Then you get a drop. That's another touchdown right there.
That's a free touchdown right there. He made a beautiful
pass. And then you're offside. You're offside on a end of game field goal attempt where, let's be real, like it was 50-50 at best. I mean, every kick is 50-50. I understand. But Hopkins, it's like, I mean, literally, I couldn't watch. I don't think, I mean, it's just one of those things where you do one of these things, right? And you just can't, I can't watch it. And that's why, if you're a Giants fan, this is like extra painful. Like 29-30 loss is painful. But I mean, as a Washington fan, I feel like we've been in this position 10 million times. They're really like, New York is not as talented as Washington, offensively or defensively. That is my opinion. They lost the game by 1 point and left at least 14 on the field. That's got to sting.
Yeah, that's got to sting, and it's got to not leave a good taste in our mouth on defense. We allowed the Giants to score 29 points. You know, there are times where the pass rush would look like exactly what we expected them to be. The front four were getting to the Daniel Jones, but if we didn't get to Daniel Jones, he was making plays. And he was finding,
he was dicing
the secondary. Yep. This secondary is making me nervous. The more after these two seeing them.
You have to clarify though. It's the linebackers, not necessarily.
Yeah, Willie
cornerbacks.
Willie balled out.
St. Juice actually had some
great
defended passes.
Yo, Kenny Galladay got held to 3 catches.
Yeah,
and insignificant catches.
Kenny Galladay's hurt. He's not where he is. He's sitting on my bench right now on my fantasy team. That's where he belongs right now.
Okay.
The point is, we allowed the Giants to score 29 points on our defense. Yeah, granted, there was some short field. That's a lot. The Giants' offense last week.
The defense. Hold on. Well, I mean, and Stevie's not here to defend himself, but I'm gonna take some shots anyway. Okay, he was ready to bury this offense, the defensive line. They got progressively less crappy. Okay, they weren't very good still, but and they gave up. Remember, I mean, the Giants, that dude that his leg exploded. I mean, that was I don't know if you guys saw the
lineman. Yeah.
Do not disgusting. Go Google or Twitter. It's terrible, and I'm never gonna cheer somebody's injury. That sucks. But the very next play, okay, they bring in Razzle off the street to just play right tackle. And then the audacity, the balls on Jason Garrett, we're going to run right that way. And Saquon rips off a 35-yard run. And I want to talk about Saquon for a second too, because he finished with 57 yards total, right? So he got more than 80% on that one run. The defense, they won't be discussed tomorrow, right? There's a little bit of pressure, I think, taken off of them. The linebackers, there's a big problem here. There's a big problem here.
If only we used our first-round pick to draft the stud line. Oh wait, we did do that.
I mean, you got one. And I think. I
heard his name once.
What did he do?
I heard
what
his
did
name
he do today? What's the box
come
score
on,
say?
he's a rookie.
2 tackles. 2 tackles.
It's week 2.
No, but you can't say he's a rookie. He's a first-round rookie, and you have Micah Parsons over there on the Dallas Cowboys sitting there on Hard Knocks and being
I know Micah Parsons
changer.
is only good on Hard Knocks. I saw a couple clips from him last week that looked completely lost
against the Super Bowl defending Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But he still had a great game. He still had a much better game than Jamin Davis, who's getting plowed in the first week against the Chargers, sort of did enough this week. But for being your middle linebacker, your first-round pick middle linebacker, you need more from him faster. And
his team needs more from him because there isn't anyone behind him or in front of him that's any good. The linebackers they're going to be problematic. And I feel like, looking at the box score and kind of letting everything just kind of marinate and calm down, like I'm calming down a little bit after this game, right? The team, I mean, they got, it's ironic to even say because Daniel Jones, I felt like he had all day to do whatever he wanted in the pocket. He could run, he could pass, he could stand there, he could have a picnic, and there was no pressure. I felt like there was consistently, no pressure. But they did end up with, I think Jonathan Allen ends up with what, 2 sacks, 5 tackles, 5.5 tackles and 2 sacks. Fuller got a sack off that corner. Sweat played a little
We
bit
got them
more.
4
I'm trying
times.
to, like they seem to find a rhythm, but I mean, consistently again, like this team is supposed to be the like the defensive unit, the defensive front in particular. And Deron Payne was posting on Twitter, and here comes the pain, and it's raining, and rain plus pain. And yes, I get it. But you got to play better. I mean, that was embarrassing. I mean, that's the second week now in a row, right? In the span of 4 days that they seemingly were not prepared on the opening drive. I mean, they just, I don't know what happens. Like it's literally like the whole team is just warming up.
You have to take it with a grain of salt. The linebackers are so weak that teams are now preparing to face that front line by doing quick passes, 3-step drops. And I don't care how good you are, you're not going to be able to get pressure consistently on a 3-step drop. It's impossible. That linebacker group, that is the reason why we're not seeing the pressure from that front line. That's it, hands down. That's the reason. Sweat still did what he needed to do. Young still did what he needed to do. Payne stuffed a couple runs from Saquon easily. Jonathan Allen's a stud. Thank God we re-signed him. I like him as the anchor of that line.
Never came back in, right?
Ioannidis did come back in.
Did he? He was walking it off. He's my guy.
He got binged. He got the jewels got jiggled a little bit.
Okay.
That's all.
I mean, something happened because he was slow getting up, and he was doing the leg. I think you're right. He was doing the leg shake on the sideline for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The air him out.
It was a helmet right to the junk. You could see it if you watch again.
Let's. I mean, any thoughts on that call? To Ricky in the corner, because I mean that's got to be deep in the playbook, right? I mean, we didn't even see Ricky take the field. I mean, he didn't. I don't think he played a single down as a tight end on Sunday.
He's a blocking tight end. He comes into block. He's in the jumbo package.
Maybe he's gotten older because he used to catch balls. I mean, he used to, I think he was out in Arizona for a while. He used to catch balls.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely wasn't the number one option on that play. You can saw Taylor how he went through and made his reads and saw it. And at first he thought he was throwing it away the way that ball came out, but
I think a little bit of him was throwing it away.
Yeah,
he threw it in a place where if Ricky doesn't make it, nobody's getting it.
Right, he threw it in a place that only Ricky was going to catch it. So I mean, he had the confidence from that first from the pass right prior to McKissick down the sideline. It was a hell of a throw. It was a hell of a catch. It's a play that we needed at the right time. So I was impressed by the play. I was impressed by the execution and the confidence. That's what this team needs. It needs confidence. It needs to be able to walk into the game and say, we can execute. We know we belong here. We've been putting in the work week in and week out in practice. Those are the plays that's the fruit of the work that this team has been putting in.
No, I mean the offense for sure.
You're giving them a lot of praise there, Razzle.
I'm saying that drive
by 1 point against
I'm saying that drive with 2 beautiful plays on the screen on the out route to McKissick, and then followed by the pass to Ricky Seals-Jones. Those 2 plays right there, I'm saying, are plays that this team needs in order to build on the confidence. Look, we're 2 weeks. We're not even 2 weeks. We're 4 days into the season.
Yes.
We got a big game coming up with Buffalo. We're going up to Buffalo. In 10 days. These are the type of games that we need to win.
If they play like they play today, they're going to lose by 20.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
I mean, we got to see what kind of team Buffalo is this week. I mean, they didn't play that well.
No, I'm just saying, just assess them based on what we just saw against the Giants. The Giants, again, like I mean, there's no love lost between Washington and DC. This is not a good team. It's not a good team. Saquon did not go off. The receivers, with the exception of 1 or 2 plays, they didn't go off. Daniel Jones has no business looking the way he looks. He only looks this way against Washington.
I mean, he's got the
He's
swagger
only in the league. He's only in the league right now, or at least he's only a starting quarterback because of his performances against the football team. He's 4-1 lifetime against the football team. He still put up numbers today. It's going to end up being one of these fluky things when we're 65 years old. Someone's going to be like, well, there's going to be some random trivia at the Pizza Hut at night or whatever. It's going to be like, oh, what random quarterback that flamed out after 3 years dominated the Washington football team during his tenure? And we're all going to raise our hand and say, the big dummy, Daniel Jones. Because we happen to be alive during this time and know that he just got our number.
Yeah, we'll see him for one more game, and as our buddy Antonio mentioned to us earlier last week, he's not going to be here next year, so we're not going to have to worry about it again.
Look, if you take this Taylor Heinicke performance tonight, and if you clone it, let's just say every single game goes basically the same way, some up, some down, 350-ish passing yards, a couple touchdowns. If he's able to do this right as the starter for the next 6, 7, 8 weeks. They should be, 30 points a game, 25 to 30. You're going to be in the mix in some of these games. It's going to be on the defense, right? Right. If he's able to do it for the duration of the regular season, and I again, like you said perfectly, Razzle, we're 4 days into the season. If he's able to do it, he might be the guy. He might be the guy here because this is somebody had pointed out. This is the weakest collegiate quarterback class in a long time. We won't be high enough. It's just the same spot we're always stuck in. Like,
you're not getting enough draft QB. No way.
Yeah, like we're not going to be in that position. But Taylor, like, hasn't he shown enough? Like, I know it's 3 games, but if he does it for another
2 games, it's 2.5.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But he's got something. He's got something. This isn't the Colt McCoy hysteria train. Like, there's something here with this kid.
No, I'm absolutely with you. And it's funny because earlier, a couple of days ago, I was saying maybe we should sign Cam Newton. But then in the offseason, I was saying we should have went into the season with Taylor as a quarterback and not wasted our time with Ryan Fitzpatrick, because we're not going to build with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's going to be here for this year, and then he's going to go off, either going to retire or he'll go play for his 18th team in the NFL.
He could be here and mentor. He could be a mentor. I mean,
he doesn't want it. He wants to go out there and throw
I think he's got to come to grips now with the fact that he's got
tired
no
of
hips.
this conversation of our old free agent quarterback coming in, getting hurt, and then we're like, oh, he could be a coach on the field. I'm over this conversation.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's get back on the Heinicke hype train.
Yeah. Listen,
tonight,
the only thing I could
say,
the only thing you could say to Fitzpatrick at this point, baby, is like the hips don't lie. Okay, like the hips don't lie.
No, I mean,
his game over on the hips.
I'll give you a bold prediction. We're not going to see him again this season.
You're probably not gonna see him again for his career, man. He's old with a hip injury. Like,
it's gonna be the Heinicke show. If Heinicke gets hurt, we're gonna bring Kyle Allen to do the Kyle Allen, very vanilla Scott Turner offense. I mean, those guys are. They got a relationship the same way Colt McCoy and Jake Gruden used to have a relationship. They used to go everywhere together.
That's right. It was more about off the field. It's about winning off the field. It impacted on the field performance. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But if Taylor does this or maintains this, you can't not consider him to be your long-term solution. Like, he's not super, again, if he can run the offense with some proficiency, which he's demonstrated he can, if Scott Turner can just inject a little bit more creativity into the offense.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
I mean, maybe, look, again,
you need a new offensive coordinator.
When you win, you can make excuses and you can kind of write off some stuff, like there's no excuse for the field to be as terrible as it is and for injuries to continue to happen. There's no excuse for any of that stuff.
Did you see how many Giants fans were there?
It was
unbelievable. And not even like they were right there in the 100s.
Okay, I
could hear defense chants while our offense was
I'm not surprised. I'm not. Are you surprised?
I mean, this was bad. This wasn't just like throughout this. This was like right there. Like,
but it's always this way.
I was watching the NFL Network crew. They had the halftime crew. And then you see Giants jerseys behind everyone there. You see even a couple Cowboys jerseys.
Like, I mean, there's always going to be the not from Dallas guy that just shows
MVDs.
up. There's always going to be the 1 or 2 Michael Jordan jerseys. Yep. Like, you can't explain some of that stuff.
But they were
look,
all on TV.
FP's here rocking a blue shirt anyway, right? But that's a DC shirt.
Rocking a Cap shirt, yeah.
I know. So maybe that's what you saw on TV. Maybe
that's
a convincing.
I saw a couple Cowboys jerseys.
The question is, what Giants fan is traveling for this team in a rainy Thursday night?
Well,
You know,
no,
Thursday
no.
night's
The Giants
not a
fans
bad
don't.
game.
They're here. These guys live here because no one
Yeah.
wants to live in New York. It's like Pittsburgh effect, right? There's fans everywhere because no one wants to live in these terrible cities. But again, like DC, like if you want football team fans, if you want burgundy and gold throughout your stadium, you got to be more consistent and win. You need your owner to take some accountability. You need to not have poop and sewage raining on your fans. There's a bunch of things you got to do. You got to move the stadium back into DC, and maybe you don't build 100,000 person stadium when there's only about 60,000 people that want to go to a game.
Yeah.
Like there's a whole bunch of things that factor into that, right? So like I'm never surprised anymore about away fans. I mean, look at the Chargers fans. Chargers were probably what 30. It was a 30-70 split, a 70-30 split. 30% Chargers fans.
But this was worse than that.
This was worse. This was probably 50-50.
All NFC East games.
This felt like 50-50.
You're right. Right.
Yeah. I mean, no other.
There's no home field advantage for the Washington football team. There never will be until
there's no grass. There's no freak. There's
no, but they don't practice there. Nobody wants to be there. It's not. Nope. It's not a unique venue in any way. There's no history behind it. Like it's literally just a big circle in the middle of nowhere, Maryland, where nobody wants to go.
It's a networking event. This area looks at Washington football team games as just a networking event.
I mean, that would be great because then at least you could fill the place, right? Everybody will come with their work clothes, right? But you don't even get that crowded at
you're not because they're not able to watch the game. There's no bars, there's no restaurants next to the. It'll go to happy hour.
But honestly, I think the NFL considers these things when they're figuring out their primetime schedule. Like every team's going to get something, right? But like,
I think every team has to play a Thursday night game.
I think so, but but your tailgating situation is going to be different. Your whole environment's going to be different. Like it's not like the Packers on a Thursday night they're gonna still tailgate. No one's going to work on Friday. Right. Blah blah blah. That doesn't happen in DC. We just got to be honest. Like it doesn't happen. Like the fervor and the love and the passion behind this team has been eroded. Consistently. I won't say slowly. It's been consistently just kind of chipped at. We even got I'm not gonna name names, but there's some longtime hosts that we grew up listening to that have just abandoned the team and just switched teams completely. And I can you blame them? Why are we still cheering for this team? Short of this is where this is where our moms kind of dropped us off, right? We just kind of woke up. We were born into this world here, and thus we have some stupid allegiance to this team that just.
We enjoy the misery. We enjoy the heartache. We enjoy the up and down. We're going to be high tomorrow.
I can't imagine being a fan that's constantly happy with his team. I don't know. What
other way there to be a fan right now?
What are you supposed to do when you watch a game that doesn't come down to the 2 minutes and induce heart attacks and heart palpitations? And
your kicker misses a kick and then makes the kick. No, it's the only way to do it.
It'd be so boring to
I wouldn't have it any other way. Who are you going to root for? Are you going to root for the Saints? Are you going to root for the
I mean, you guys you kill me about cheering for the Broncos. I mean, Broncos.
That's just.
I'm not saying go to the Cowboys or the Eagles or the Giants. Like maybe stay out of the division, but if you're going to be tormented by a team, you should at least enjoy. No. This was.
We're too loyal.
This was painful. I look. So headlines for tomorrow. If you got any other ones, I think it's going to be obviously a lot of Heinicke, and
it's all on Heinicke.
It's all on Heinicke. I think Hopkins is going to feel some heat behind the scenes. That's just my opinion. You can't be this erratic with your you just can't be this erratic. I don't know how else to say it. And
he made 3 kicks. I don't know why you're getting so hard on Hopkins. He made 3 field goals tonight. He was 3 for 3.
The truth is, all the headlines tomorrow, it's not even going to be revolve around the Washington football team. It's all going to be about the Giants, their breakdown, their choke, their missed extra point.
I think we'll get a little bit.
You saying on the national spotlight?
I think we'll get a little bit of love.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Heinicke may get a little bit of praise. I mean,
no, Rivera's a story. I mean, Ron in and of himself he's a story, and somebody will spin it into resilience of the team, and Ron made it happen, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But for one day, we're gonna. I enjoy listening to all the opinions and the bloviating the day after we play on the national stage and win. Yes. I'll make time for all the radio and all the talking head shows, because it'll be the first segment of every show, and then they'll pivot away because you know,
We'll
we
talk about
consider
the
DC.
Packers. We'll talk about Aaron Rodgers. We'll talk
Yeah,
about Dak,
which
the
they should.
Cowboys.
Honestly, Aaron Rodgers and the breakdown of that relationship between him and the city and the team, it's a bigger story than Heinicke winning.
Did you see all the memes that came out?
I was just about to bring him up.
Oh.
There were a couple of ones that cracked me up. The Nicolas Cage.
I mean,
yeah.
Look, FP, we didn't get your take on this. I mean, I know you watched every single game probably over the weekend.
Yeah, I did.
We all had some different takeaways. You know, mine was I think Aaron Rodgers and that situation is the lead story moving forward. I mean, is there something bigger that we missed? I mean, Stevie was big on the NFC West. I think Razzle, you had some strong thoughts on the Bills and on the Cardinals and just how dominant the Cardinals looked. I think they're one of your sneaky Super Bowl picks.
The Rams. You're forgetting about
the Rams. I'm sorry. You know, but FP, I know, like I said, you probably watched everything that we watched. I mean, did you have anything that kind of stuck out? For me, it was Aaron Rodgers. That body language was terrible. He doesn't want to be there. Joe Barry can't coach it. Like, nothing has changed since Joe Barry left here. He still can't coach a defense. I mean, I think it's a huge story, and because it's the Packers and it's Rodgers, you know, I understand why it leads pretty much every broadcast.
It's definitely the biggest story media wise, and I personally think that he is phoning it in. I don't think he truly cares to compete on the Packers, and he's kind of forcing their hands to get rid of him or make a QB change, and then some kind of drama happens. But from a football perspective, to me, the biggest surprise or the biggest headline is really the flip of that game, Jameis Winston. And I really want to know if he kind of had like a Carlos Rodgers effect where LASIK fixed Jameis Winston, and all of a sudden he's a stud.
Oh, I forgot
QB.
about that.
I love me some Carlos.
I forgot about that.
You give him LASIK, and all of a sudden he's dropping dimes and throwing.
That bastard couldn't catch
passes.
a cold. He gets his eyes fixed, and he's catching everything. Yeah, maybe Crab Legs just needed his eyeballs.
He just
working.
got his LASIK. That's
He
it.
needed some real coaching. No, I mean, Sean Payton's the quarterback for Spur. I mean, thank God they made the
he had 140 yards passing.
No, he seemed accurate. He seemed poised. He seemed confident.
He threw the ball like 12 times, Joe.
If Tyler Heinicke tonight had 140 yards passing, 4 touchdown passes,
my God! I mean, you'd be doing this podcast with your shirt off.
Yeah,
Fine.
I mean,
okay,
yeah.
I won't argue with that. I won't argue. But look, tomorrow, Heinicke. I can't wait to hear Skip Bayless tell me that
you still watch Skip.
Yeah, I watch Skip. Listen. I'm a connoisseur of all hot takes.
The only time you should watch Skip is when the Cowboys lose.
Yeah.
That's only the only time he's good.
I mean, what's your go-to? I'm gonna listen to the radio in the morning. The radio is always on. Like, I'm for better or for worse, I'm obsessed with radio.
Best show hands down is Good Morning Football on NFL Network.
That actually is a very good show.
That's a very good.
They do it very well.
No, they just got rid of Nate Burleson, and they're bringing in guest stars. I think D Hall was on it last week.
Yeah,
but that's all around a really good football show.
And tomorrow, my boy, First Take. Now they got rid of Max, they got a rotating cast. I think Fridays is with Tebow. So if you want to get a little bit of Tim Tebow,
it's hard for me to give ESPN my viewership.
Well, look, you keep rocking that red hat, baby. All right, I see you. All right,
nothing but a nookie.
I see you. All right. Any final thoughts before we put a bow on this one? I mean, look, I don't want to get too. I don't want to preview the Bills. I think we'll do that. We'll have plenty of time to do that. I think, for me, walking away from this game, the two things that are going to stand out, it shouldn't have been that close. From a talent perspective, Washington should have dominated from start to finish, and they didn't. The win is much needed. They're 1-1, but we'll take it. Right? It's a division win. It's better than anyone else right now in the division. They're 1-0 in the division, so we'll take it. They should have beat this team more handily. It's okay that they didn't, but I mean, again, a win is a win. I think there was enough get right here for the team to build off of this with an extended break now before they have to travel to Buffalo. Buffalo will present a completely different challenge with a team that is offensively loaded, much more so like the Chargers are built than the Giants. But at least for the next couple of days, I mean, Ron should give the team the day off. I think this defense needs to do some real soul searching, and they got to decide, like, are we going to be the dominant front four that we've been billed to be, or are we just to Steve's point, an average unit that in spurts can surge and play really well. I think that's the one, like, identity crisis time. Like, they're going to have to make a decision here.
And cause some turnovers. I mean, definitely tonight we had 0 turnovers from our defense. So we need to find some ways to be creative, because this offense, like, it's going to be erratic all season. So we're going to need to find ways to move the field position in our favor. There were no turnovers. I got to go back and look at the stats to see what we were like last week against the Chargers in terms of getting the ball back. But the defense needs to do a little bit of soul searching. I think the offense needs to continue to build on success. I think we need to see a little bit more of Gibson in the plans for the game, and we need to see him a little bit.
Does it bother you how he runs? I noticed it a couple times today. The ball,
it's loose. It's a little loose.
He does the chicken wing thing a little bit. Like running backs that have been running backs their entire lives, they run like with that ball really tight.
Well, he's not a running back.
High and tight. He needs to learn high and tight.
Well, that's the thing.
And just a couple times tonight, I was just the arm comes up, like, you know, that loaf of bread effect, the Terrell Owens, like, I got it with my monster.
I want to see him involved in the passing game. That's something that I was hoping to see a little bit more. I know they get me.
Well, you want like wheel routes from the backfield?
I want some wheel routes. I want him to get more than 18.5 points, 18.5 yards, like what we had in our bet today. That's what I want him to get, a little bit more than. I want to see him included in the game.
I mean, look, I don't disagree. I mean, I think he's got some of that LaDainian, the LT skill set where he can run, he can run through the line, turn around, catch the ball, and fall down. 2-3 yards every time you need 2 or 3 yards. Yeah, it's not a bad point.
I mean, he still has a long way to go, but for how young he is as a running back, he's doing,
but look right behind him. I mean, JD, they don't that the offense doesn't skip a beat when the spell team
not much of a beat to skip, but yeah.
Well, okay, but McKissick is a capable running back.
Yeah.
He can run.
I mean, he got us some third down conversions. He got those first downs, but
you know what? And by the way, complete BS at the end of the first quarter, or beginning of the second quarter. When you fall and you're not touched and you continue to move forward, you get credit for the yards. Okay.
But there was bad calls on both sides. And that
but that's like typical football team crap.
Can I just say that brings me to my point? The two things I need to talk about: penalties, both sides of the ball, god awful, terrible, cannot happen, so sloppy. And then diving deeper into that, Sam Cosmi is crap. I need us to go back to the Jets, bring me Morgan Moses back from their second string, and bring him back on this team. Cosmi has way too many mistakes, week 1 and week 2.
Guy, like 2 seconds ago, you were giving the linebacker, you're giving the rookie a break, but you're poo-pooing all over the offensive lineman. Why?
No, he wasn't giving any linebacker a break.
This whole offseason, we hear that Cosmi's going up and practicing against Sweat and Young. Well, apparently Cosmi's so bad that he made Sweat and Young regress a little bit, and the whole defense is suffering. All I'm saying is
that's a very good point.
Cosmi is very terrible, and if Chase and Sweat are going through training camp, be like, "Oh man, I'm rocking him. I'm ready for the season." Clearly, you're not. Something.
I'm going to isolate that. That's going to be the lead clip for the show because you're 100% right. If you're practicing against poo, you start to think that you're not poo, right?
Exactly.
Until you face somebody who's not poo, and then you realize, hey, maybe I'm poo. Right. I mean, that's where this unit is right now. They have got to play better. I mean, Steve, within the first 3 plays, was ready to punt on the game and he's like, let's go out and get a drink. Forget about the game. This is gonna be a long night. Blah blah blah. And he wasn't wrong. I mean, he wasn't wrong. This team cannot be successful if the defense cannot get consistent pressure with only 4 down linemen or 3.5 or whatever formation or front they want to put together. If you have to bring the linebackers who are slow consistently, what Daniel Jones did tonight is exactly what's going to continue to happen. He's going to turn the corner and run right past them. And he looked like an Olympic sprinter today. Like he literally ran away from everyone.
Oh, he looked incredibly fast. It was almost like it was Michael Vick back there. But if you're not going to play our game, at least play a clean game and try to get through the downfalls that we might have.
Yeah, I don't disagree there. I think there's a lot of storylines. There's going to be a lot of discussion. I'm looking forward to that, to watching football this Sunday and not having my day ruined. It's amazing. Like it's gonna be nice. Like, you can fire up Red Zone I stopped paying for Red Zone. I just like to, I can't follow all of the games.
So then what are you watching? You're going to be stuck watching like the Dolphins and the and the Bills, or you're gonna get stuck.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I want to watch the Bills.
Jets.
I'll be scouting the Bills.
No,
I'll watch the Broncos.
You need some Scott Hansen in your life, Joe. You need some
red zone, and just keep your fantasy up.
Yep.
Perfect Sunday right there.
But the bets on
maybe I'm just getting older where I don't. I mean, fantasies. I do fantasy football because I enjoy hanging out with my friends, not necessarily. Maybe I've also come to the realization I'll never win our stupid league. We're in season 18. Your boys never won the championship. I've sniffed it a couple of times.
You do red zone. I'm just looking at the slate for this Sunday. You do red zone pretty much the whole day. There's not really one game I want to watch until you get to the Sunday night where you see the Chiefs and the Ravens, which for me, the Ravens are the most overrated team in the NFL. So I think that's not going to be as close to.
Yeah, I mean they don't have running backs. They lost a bunch of key
players.
They don't have a quarterback. Yeah, Lamar is. I've seen that show before. It's called RG3. I've seen that one a couple times. By the way, can we talk about RG3 just tweeting the team constantly?
Put me in. Just make the call, coach.
I don't know what call he wants. You think RG3 gets a call before Cam Newton gets a call? I don't think so.
No, you call Cam.
RG3 at least for 1 week. Hopefully, we don't have to listen to Cam Newton talk. Like I'm a fan of Cam Newton, but I am not a fan of him being on this team. I don't think they need him. I think Heinicke showed.
We'll see what happens after the Bills.
The only time you should be talking about bringing in Cam Newton is if we're trotting out Kyle Allen as our starter and barely putting up 10 points. Bring in the circus, bring in the freak show, bring in the drama at that point to at least keep me entertained.
Yes. But right now in Heinicke, I trust, man. This guy,
absolutely.
The kid's got it. Let's enjoy this victory, boys. Let's put a bow on this show. Let's go and celebrate by probably going to sleep. Let's be very honest here. I'm exhausted. Your boy hasn't seen 12:30 or midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning in a long time. I'm ready to get to bed. You know what? We're going to wake up tomorrow to a lot of coverage, positive coverage of the football team, and that's a good thing. So we'll take it. We'll enjoy it. Like I said, our Sunday cannot be ruined by the football team because they will not be playing, and that's a positive as well. And we can start to look, next week at the Bills and see what this team can do, to try to steal one in Buffalo. They shouldn't be favored. I think that line's going to be very, very favorable. So I'm sure we'll do some betting breakdowns. But for now, thank you, Razzle, for joining the post-game show. Thank you, FP. I love the hat. Bring it back. Keep wearing it. Don't shower until the team loses. Okay, you're the good luck charm here. So keep it rolling. To everyone that's been watching here on YouTube, thank you for watching the show. It's kind of a cool way to interact with the show. You can find us on Twitter, everywhere you can imagine. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can find the show as well. Just search for DTC or Defeating the Curse. And thank you to the Contender Network. We appreciate them as well. A lot more coming on that front in the weeks to come. And the road ahead is an exciting one. We're done with 2 weeks of 17. It's going to be a fun one. Thank you, boys, for making time. Washington football team beats the New York Giants at home 30-29. It is over. We have won. We are